Do you ever feel like your mind is overwhelmed with negative thoughts? Like no matter how hard you try, the same doubts, fears, and worries keep resurfacing? Or maybe you find yourself caught in a loop of overthinking, unable to let go of past mistakes or future anxieties. If you've ever wondered how to break free from this cycle and live a more peaceful life, you're not alone. These questions are part of daily life, and the solution lies not in avoiding them but in changing how we respond. Imagine this. You're carrying a backpack filled with stones, each one representing a negative thought or emotion. As you walk through life, the weight of these stones slows you down and makes every step harder. But what if you could take the stones out, one by one, and lighten your load? This is the promise of the path we're about to explore today, a journey inspired by the teachings of Buddhism that can help you remove negativity from your mind and find lasting peace. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we dive deep into topics that help you live a more mindful and positive life. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of you are subscribed. So, if you're new here or haven't yet subscribed, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us bring more valuable insights to you and others. Now, let's get into the heart of what Buddhism teaches about overcoming negativity. At its core, Buddhism offers practical ways to train the mind and remove negative thoughts. The Buddha taught that negativity arises from three main sources: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. These are known as the three poisons, and they cloud our thinking, leading us to act in ways that cause more suffering. But here's the good news: with practice, we can begin to understand these poisons and clear them from our minds. The first step is awareness. When you're aware of your thoughts and emotions, you can start to notice patterns. Maybe you find yourself getting frustrated over small things, or perhaps you dwell on past regrets. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness, a key practice in Buddhism, is about observing your thoughts without getting caught up in them. It allows you to step back and see your negativity for what it is, just thoughts, not facts. In the next few parts of this series, we'll delve deeper into how mindfulness and other Buddhist teachings can transform your mind and free you from the negativity that holds you back. Understanding the roots of negativity. As we continue on this journey to clear the mind of negativity, it's important to take a moment and really understand where these negative thoughts and feelings come from. Imagine trying to pull out a weed from your garden. If you just pull at the leaves, the weed grows back again, right? The only way to truly remove it is by digging deep and pulling it out from the roots. The same goes for negativity in our minds. If we don't understand its roots, it will keep growing back. So, what are the roots of negativity? Why do we feel these things in the first place? In Buddhism, there's a simple but profound teaching that says negativity is born from three main sources: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. These three forces, often called the three poisons, are what cloud our minds and make us feel restless, unhappy, and stuck in negative thought patterns. Let's break down each of these and see how they play a role in our daily lives. Attachment, the craving for more. Think about a time when you wanted something so badly. It could have been a material thing like a new phone, a promotion at work, or even someone's approval or love. At first, the desire for these things doesn't seem harmful, right? But when we get attached to them, when we feel like we need them to be happy, that's when the trouble begins. Attachment makes us cling to things, people, or experiences, thinking they will bring us lasting happiness. But life is always changing, and nothing stays the same forever. When we attach our happiness to something that is temporary, we set ourselves up for disappointment. For example, think about the excitement of buying something new. At first, it feels great, but over time, that joy fades, and we start looking for the next thing. This constant cycle of wanting more keeps us trapped in a loop of dissatisfaction. In Buddhism, this is known as craving. Craving leads to suffering because the more we cling, the more we fear losing what we have. And when we do lose it, or when things don't turn out the way we expect, negativity arises in the form of frustration, sadness, or even anger. We start to feel like we're always missing something, like there's always something better just out of reach. But here's the key: we don't have to live this way. When we become aware of our attachments, we can begin to let go. Letting go doesn't mean we stop enjoying life or stop striving for things. It simply means we stop clinging to the idea that these things will bring us lasting happiness. We start to appreciate them for what they are, without becoming dependent on them. Aversion, the habit of pushing away. Now let's talk about aversion. Aversion is the opposite of attachment. It's when we push things away because we don't like them. It's the feeling we get when we face something unpleasant, like a difficult person, a challenging situation, or even a negative emotion. Our natural reaction is to resist, to avoid, or to fight against it. For example, have you ever had a day where everything seemed to go wrong? Maybe you spilled your coffee, got stuck in traffic, and then had a rough meeting at work. It's easy to feel irritated and think, why is this happening to me? We start pushing away the discomfort, wishing things were different. But the more we resist, the stronger the negativity becomes. Aversion often shows up as anger, frustration, or fear. We don't like what's happening, so we reject it. But this rejection only adds more negativity to the situation. Instead of accepting things as they are, we create a mental struggle that makes us feel even worse. It's like trying to swim against a strong current. The more we fight, the more exhausted we become. Buddhism teaches that the way to overcome aversion is through acceptance. This doesn't mean we have to like everything that happens to us, but it means we stop resisting the reality of the present moment. When we accept things as they are, without trying to change or control them, we free ourselves from the mental struggle. We can then respond to life's challenges with clarity and calm, rather than with frustration and anger. Ignorance, the root cause of all suffering. The third root of negativity is ignorance, which might sound like a harsh word, but in the Buddhist sense, it simply means not seeing things clearly. Ignorance is when we misunderstand the nature of reality, when we believe that things are permanent, when we think that external things can bring us lasting happiness, or when we fail to see the interconnectedness of all life. Ignorance is like wearing glasses with the wrong prescription. Everything we see is distorted, and because of that, we react to life in ways that cause more suffering. For example, we might believe that someone else is responsible for our unhappiness, or that we're stuck in a situation with no way out. This kind of thinking keeps us trapped in negativity because we're not seeing the full picture. In Buddhism, one of the most important teachings is that everything is impermanent. Life is always changing, and nothing stays the same forever. When we cling to the idea that things should be a certain way, or when we ignore the fact that change is inevitable, we create suffering for ourselves. But when we understand the truth of impermanence, we can begin to let go of our rigid ideas and open up to the flow of life. Another aspect of ignorance is not seeing how our actions affect others. We often think of ourselves as separate from the world around us, but in reality, we are deeply connected to everyone and everything. When we harm others, we harm ourselves, and when we bring positivity to others, we bring positivity to ourselves. Recognizing this interconnectedness helps us break free from the ignorance that fuels negativity. The power of awareness. Now that we've explored the three roots of negativity, attachment, aversion, and ignorance, you might be wondering, what can I do about it? The answer lies in awareness. Awareness is the first step toward transforming negativity. When you become aware of your attachments, aversions, and moments of ignorance, you can start to loosen their grip on your mind. This doesn't happen overnight, and it's not about being perfect. It's about being curious and gentle with yourself. When a negative thought or emotion arises, instead of pushing it away or clinging to it, you simply notice it. You acknowledge it for what it is, just a passing thought or feeling, and then you let it go. Buddhism teaches that our thoughts and emotions are like clouds passing through the sky. They come and go, but they don't define us. By cultivating awareness, we can learn to observe these clouds without getting swept away by them. This is the beginning of true freedom. The freedom to choose how we respond to life, rather than reacting out of habit. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how the practice of mindfulness can help us cultivate this awareness and start clearing the negativity from our minds. The power of mindfulness in Buddhism. Imagine this. You're sitting by a quiet river, watching the water flow by. You see leaves, sticks, and other small objects drifting downstream. Now, imagine each of those objects represents a thought or emotion that passes through your mind. Some of them might be good, like joyful memories or calm feelings. Others might be negative, like frustration, anger, or worry. The river keeps flowing, whether the objects are pleasant or unpleasant, and you, sitting on the bank, are just watching. This is mindfulness. Mindfulness, a central practice in Buddhism, is simply the art of observing what is happening in the present moment without judgment. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations as they arise, and letting them pass without getting tangled in them. This ability to observe without attachment is incredibly powerful because it helps you separate yourself from the constant stream of negativity that often takes over your mind. Why does mindfulness work? Think about how your mind operates on a daily basis. Most of us are rarely present in the current moment. We spend our days either lost in thoughts about the past. Why did I say that? I shouldn't have done that. Or worrying about the future. What if things don't work out? What if I fail? When we're stuck in these mental loops, we aren't truly living in the moment. And when we're not present, we become more vulnerable to negative thoughts and emotions, which can easily snowball and overwhelm us. Mindfulness breaks this cycle by grounding us in the now. It teaches us to notice our thoughts, but not be controlled by them. It reminds us that we are not our thoughts. For example, when you feel angry, instead of thinking, "I am angry," mindfulness allows you to recognize the thought as, "I am experiencing anger." This small shift makes a huge difference. Suddenly, anger isn't who you are. It's just something passing through your mind, like those leaves floating down the river. In Buddhism, mindfulness is often compared to a mirror. A mirror reflects whatever is in front of it without holding on to it. If you stand in front of a mirror, it reflects your image. But once you step away, the image disappears and the mirror is clear again. Your mind can work the same way. Through mindfulness, you can train your mind to reflect thoughts and emotions as they come, but not cling to them. They pass, and the mind remains clear. One of the most effective ways to cultivate mindfulness is through meditation. Meditation is the practice of sitting quietly and focusing your attention on one thing. It could be your breath, the sensations in your body, or even the sounds around you. As you meditate, thoughts will naturally arise. But instead of getting frustrated or trying to push them away, you simply acknowledge them and gently bring your attention back to your focus point. Here's an example. Let's say you decide to focus on your breath during meditation. You're sitting quietly, breathing in and out. After a few seconds, you notice a thought pop into your mind. "I forgot to send that email." In that moment, instead of spiraling into more thoughts like, "I'm so behind on work," or "I always forget things," mindfulness helps you pause. You acknowledge the thought, "Okay, I had a thought about the email," and then gently return to focusing on your breath. This practice might sound simple, but it's incredibly transformative. With time, you'll notice that you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions throughout the day, not just during meditation. You'll start to catch yourself in moments of negativity and have the ability to step back before getting swept away by them. But let's be clear, mindfulness is not about ignoring or suppressing negative emotions. It's not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. Instead, mindfulness encourages you to face your emotions head-on, to recognize them for what they are, and to allow them to pass without giving them power over you. In this way, mindfulness is a tool for both clarity and compassion. It helps you see yourself and your emotions clearly, and it gives you the space to treat yourself with kindness rather than harshness or judgment. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness is also closely linked to understanding the impermanence of all things. Nothing in life, including your thoughts and emotions, is permanent. Everything is constantly changing. When you're mindful, you become aware of this impermanence, and you begin to let go of the need to control or hold on to things. If you're having a bad day or feeling overwhelmed, mindfulness reminds you that this too shall pass. And on the flip side, if you're feeling joyful and at peace, mindfulness encourages you to fully appreciate that moment, knowing that it, too, is temporary. One common misunderstanding about mindfulness is that it's only about feeling calm and peaceful all the time. While mindfulness often leads to a greater sense of peace, it's not about avoiding discomfort. In fact, mindfulness teaches us to sit with discomfort and accept it, rather than running away from it or trying to numb it. This is where true growth happens. When you can face negative emotions and thoughts with openness and acceptance, they lose their grip on you. You start to realize that no matter how strong an emotion feels in the moment, it doesn't define you. and it won't last forever. The power of mindfulness in removing negativity from your mind cannot be overstated. It's not a quick fix or a magic solution, but rather a practice that, over time, fundamentally changes the way you relate to your thoughts and emotions. Through mindfulness, you learn to create space between yourself and the negativity that arises in your mind. You become less reactive, more patient, and more compassionate, both toward yourself and others. Imagine living a life where negativity no longer controls you. A life where you're fully present in each moment, able to face challenges with clarity and grace. This is the promise of mindfulness, and it's a practice that anyone can start, no matter where they are in life. To begin, try setting aside just a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness. You don't need any special equipment or a quiet room. You can practice mindfulness anywhere, whether you're sitting at your desk, standing in line at the store, or even washing dishes. All you need is a willingness to pause, notice, and let go. Remember, mindfulness is not about perfection. It's about practice. Every time you catch yourself getting lost in negative thoughts and gently bring yourself back to the present moment, you're strengthening your mind. Over time, this simple practice will have a profound impact on your mental clarity, emotional well-being, and overall sense of peace. In the next parts, we will continue to explore how you can deepen your mindfulness practice and apply it to different areas of your life, helping you remove negativity from your mind and live with greater joy and freedom. Practicing detachment to free your mind. Detachment. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But in practice, it's a profound shift in how we live our lives and how we deal with the things that cause us pain. So, let's begin by understanding what it truly means to practice detachment and how this Buddhist principle can help you free your mind from negativity. Many people misunderstand the concept of detachment. They think it means not caring, pushing everything away, or avoiding emotions. But that's not the case. Detachment doesn't mean living without feelings or relationships. It means not being controlled by them. It's about being able to experience life fully, its joys and sorrows, without clinging to or avoiding anything. In other words, detachment is about allowing life to flow without getting stuck. Let's start with a simple example. Think about a time when you wanted something so badly, a promotion, a relationship, or even a material thing like a new phone. The more you wanted it, the more anxious you felt about getting it, right? And once you got it, maybe the excitement faded quickly, or you started worrying about losing it. This is attachment. It's the desire and clinging to things we believe will make us happy, but in the end, it often leads to stress, fear, or dissatisfaction. Buddhism teaches that attachment is one of the main sources of our suffering. We attach ourselves to things, people, and outcomes, believing that they will bring us happiness. But life is unpredictable. Things change. People leave. And when that happens, if we're too attached, we feel deep pain. Practicing detachment helps us move through these experiences with grace, reducing the emotional roller coaster of constant highs and lows. Now, how do we actually practice detachment in our everyday lives? First, it's important to recognize the areas where you might be holding on too tightly. Are you attached to a particular outcome in your career or relationships? Do you cling to material possessions for a sense of security? Or maybe you're attached to the idea of being right all the time, and you struggle to let go when things don't go as planned. The key to detachment is mindfulness. When you're aware of your attachments, you can start to loosen your grip on them. Let's take an example. Imagine you're in an argument with a friend or partner. Your first instinct might be to prove you're right, to defend your point of view, because you're attached to being seen as correct or in control. But practicing detachment means stepping back and asking yourself, why am I so attached to winning this argument? What will it really bring me? When you're mindful of your attachment, you can choose to respond differently. Instead of clinging to being right, you can let go of that need and focus on understanding the other person's perspective. This doesn't mean you're giving up or agreeing with everything they say. It just means you're no longer letting your attachment to being right control your emotions and actions. Detachment also applies to how we deal with challenges and difficulties in life. Sometimes, we become attached to the idea that things should go a certain way, that our plans should work out perfectly, or that life should be fair and predictable. But when things don't go as we expect, we suffer. Practicing detachment means accepting life as it is, not as we want it to be. It's about understanding that life is constantly changing and that we can't control everything. One of the most powerful teachings of Buddhism is the idea of impermanence. Everything in life is temporary. The good moments and the bad ones, the people we love, the things we own, all of it is subject to change. When we embrace this truth, we begin to see why attachment causes so much suffering. We suffer because we try to hold on to things that are naturally going to change. But with detachment, we learn to appreciate the beauty of each moment without trying to grasp it too tightly. We can enjoy our relationships without fearing their loss. We can work toward our goals without being devastated if things don't turn out exactly as we planned. Detachment allows us to live with a sense of freedom and peace, no longer weighed down by the constant need to control or cling. A common question that comes up when people hear about detachment is, "But won't that make me less motivated? If I'm detached, won't I stop caring about achieving anything?" Actually, it's quite the opposite. Detachment doesn't mean you stop setting goals or working toward things. It means you do so without being overly attached to the outcome. You put in your effort, but you don't let your happiness depend on the result. For example, think about a student studying for an important exam. If they're too attached to getting a perfect score, they might feel intense anxiety, fear of failure, and even burnout. But if they practice detachment, they can still study hard and aim to do their best, but without the emotional burden of needing to achieve a specific outcome. They can accept whatever happens with a sense of calm and grace. In relationships, detachment allows you to love more freely and deeply. This may sound strange at first, but it's true. When you're attached to a person, you might feel afraid of losing them, or you might try to control them so they don't leave. But when you practice detachment, you can love without fear, without trying to possess the other person. You understand that love is about giving, not holding on tightly. You can be fully present in the relationship without clinging to it. So, how do we cultivate detachment in our daily lives? Start by paying attention to your thoughts and emotions. Notice when you feel overly attached to something or someone. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to here? Why am I so afraid to let go? Sometimes just recognizing your attachments is enough to start loosening their grip. Next, practice acceptance. Life is full of ups and downs, and we can't control everything. When things don't go the way you want, remind yourself that it's okay. Accept the situation as it is, without trying to force it to be different. This doesn't mean you give up or stop caring. It just means you stop resisting reality. Finally, practice gratitude for the present moment. Detachment doesn't mean distancing yourself from life. It's actually about being more fully present. When you're not constantly grasping for the next thing or worrying about losing what you have, you can enjoy the moment for what it is. You can appreciate the beauty of life in all its impermanence. In summary, detachment is about letting go of the need to control everything and everyone in your life. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of constant attachment to outcomes, people, and things. Through mindfulness, acceptance, and gratitude, you can practice detachment and discover a deeper sense of peace and freedom. Remember, it's not about pushing life away. It's about embracing it fully, without getting stuck in the need to hold on too tightly. Compassion as a tool to overcome negativity. Welcome, my friend. Today, we will explore a powerful and often misunderstood tool that can help clear the mind of negativity: compassion. Compassion is more than just a feeling. It is an action, a practice, and a way of being. In Buddhism, compassion is seen as essential to living a peaceful and fulfilling life. But let's take this idea and break it down into something simple, something we can all use in our daily lives. Think about the times when you felt angry or frustrated. It might be with someone else, or it might even be with yourself. When these feelings rise up, it's easy to feel trapped, as though they control your entire mood. Negativity has a way of grabbing hold of us, making it hard to think clearly or act kindly. But what if, instead of letting that anger or frustration take over, we learn to meet it with compassion? Now, you might wonder, what exactly is compassion? Compassion is the deep understanding of another's suffering and the desire to ease that suffering. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and seeing the world from their point of view. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them or like what they're doing. It simply means you recognize their humanity and the fact that, like you, they are also trying to navigate the challenges of life. Let's use an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. It's been a long day, you're tired, and all you want is to get home. But someone cuts you off, and you feel a flash of anger. Your first reaction might be to honk your horn, maybe yell in frustration. What's wrong with that person? But pause for a moment. Take a breath. What if, instead of reacting with anger, you took a step back and asked yourself, I wonder what kind of day that person is having. Maybe they're in a rush because they're late to pick up their child. Maybe they're distracted because they've received bad news. This small act of stepping into their shoes can soften your immediate anger and replace it with understanding. This is the power of compassion. It doesn't change what happened, but it changes your reaction. It's a way of loosening the grip that negative emotions like anger, resentment, or frustration have on you. Instead of getting caught in the storm of these emotions, compassion allows you to take a step back, to breathe, and to respond with a clearer mind. Buddhism teaches that negativity arises from our separation from others. When we see ourselves as separate, we focus only on our own suffering. We get wrapped up in our thoughts, our frustrations, and our challenges. But when we practice compassion, we realize that everyone around us is also experiencing their own struggles. This shift in perspective is transformative. Instead of feeling isolated in your pain, you begin to see that you are part of a larger human experience. Compassion doesn't just extend to others, it's equally important to be compassionate with yourself. In fact, one of the biggest sources of negativity in our lives comes from how we treat ourselves. How often do you find yourself criticizing your own actions? Do you replay mistakes in your mind, thinking, I should have done better? Or, why did I do that? This inner critic can be harsh, feeding the cycle of negativity and making it harder to find peace. But here's the truth. Just like everyone else, you are human. You will make mistakes. You will have bad days. And that's okay. The practice of compassion involves learning to be kind to yourself, even when things don't go as planned. When you can meet your own imperfections with the same understanding and kindness that you would offer to a friend, you begin to loosen the grip that self-criticism has on your mind. Imagine again that you've had a tough day at work. Maybe you missed a deadline, or maybe a meeting didn't go as you had hoped. The first thing many of us do is beat ourselves up. Why didn't I do better? I'm not good enough. But what if, instead of this harsh self-talk, you paused and said, I tried my best today, and that's enough. Tomorrow is a new day. This simple shift is an act of compassion towards yourself, and over time, it can completely change the way you experience negativity in your life. In Buddhism, there is a term called metta, which means loving kindness. It's a practice of sending goodwill and compassion to others, but also to yourself. When you sit quietly and reflect, you can repeat phrases like, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be peaceful, and then extend these wishes to others. May they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be peaceful. This practice might feel simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It shifts the mind away from negativity and toward a state of openness and kindness. Over time, practicing compassion can transform not only your relationships with others, but also your relationship with yourself. It helps you to let go of the anger, frustration, and self-doubt that cloud your mind. When you approach life with compassion, negativity loses its power. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to practice patience, understanding, and love. Now, this doesn't mean that negativity will magically disappear from your life. There will always be difficult moments, but with compassion, you are better equipped to handle them. You'll find that you react less and reflect more. You'll begin to notice that the weight of negative emotions doesn't linger as long, and when it does, you know how to lighten it. So, my friend, the next time you feel overwhelmed by negativity, whether it's towards someone else or towards yourself, remember this. Compassion is your tool. It is the key that unlocks the door to understanding, patience, and inner peace. By practicing compassion, you can remove the stones of negativity from your backpack, one by one, until your journey through life feels lighter, more joyful, and more free. Let's walk this path together, step by step, with compassion as our guide. The middle way, finding balance in thoughts. In the serene silence of the Zen garden, where every pebble and leaf is in perfect harmony, we find a profound lesson about balance. The middle way, a cornerstone of Buddhist teaching, is not merely a path but a way of being that leads us to balance in our thoughts and actions. Imagine walking a tightrope high above the ground. On one side, you have the extremes of indulgence and distraction. On the other, the extremes of self-denial and harshness. To find peace, you must walk the tightrope with grace, maintaining equilibrium in your journey. The middle way teaches us that extremes are often the root of our suffering. When we swing too far towards one end, whether it's relentless pursuit of desires or harsh self-criticism, we lose our center. The middle way invites us to live a life of moderation, where we acknowledge our desires and needs without letting them control us. It's about finding that sweet spot where we can enjoy life's pleasures while also practicing self-restraint. Consider this simple analogy. Imagine a bowl of water that is perfectly still. When you drop a stone into it, ripples spread out, disrupting the calm surface. If the stone is too big or the drop too forceful, the ripples grow chaotic and wild. But if you gently place the stone, the ripples are soft and harmonious. This is how our thoughts work. When we react too strongly to them, we create turbulence in our minds. But when we approach them with a balanced mindset, we create a peaceful mental state. In our daily lives, finding the middle way means recognizing when we're veering towards extremes. Are you pushing yourself too hard at work, neglecting your well-being in the process? Or perhaps you're indulging in distractions, avoiding responsibilities and deeper thoughts. Both extremes lead to dissatisfaction. By embracing the middle way, we learn to moderate our actions, finding a balance that sustains our inner peace. The practice of the middle way involves a few key principles. First, cultivate awareness of your desires and reactions. Notice when you're leaning towards excess or deprivation. This awareness is the first step in gently guiding yourself back to balance. Second, practice moderation. If you find yourself indulging in something, set limits that allow you to enjoy it without becoming attached. If you're being overly critical or harsh on yourself, practice self-compassion and recognize your efforts. Meditation is a powerful tool for finding balance. During meditation, you sit quietly, observing your thoughts without judgment. This practice helps you become more aware of your mental patterns and learn to respond to them with equanimity. Through regular meditation, you develop the ability to maintain your balance, even when life's challenges push you towards extremes. The middle way also teaches us about letting go. Holding on to extreme views or actions only creates more suffering. By releasing our grip on rigid beliefs and excessive behaviors, we open ourselves to a more balanced and fulfilling experience. It's like holding onto a rope that's too tight. It will hurt your hands. But if you hold it with just the right amount of pressure, you can move forward with ease. Incorporating the middle way into your life means making conscious choices that reflect balance. It's about finding harmony in your relationships, work, and personal growth. Instead of pushing yourself to the limits or withdrawing entirely, seek a balanced approach that supports your well-being and goals. As we walk this path of balance, we discover a profound truth. Peace is not found in extremes, but in the gentle middle ground where we harmonize our desires, actions, and thoughts. The middle way invites us to live with intention, embracing moderation as a path to lasting inner peace. So, as you continue on your journey to remove negativity from your mind, remember the middle way. Embrace the practice of balance and let it guide you towards a more harmonious and peaceful state of being. Through balance, you will find the clarity and tranquility that lies within, waiting to be discovered. Meditation, the key to inner peace. Imagine your mind as a still pond, its surface smooth and clear. On a calm day, you can see the reflection of the sky perfectly in the water. But when the wind blows, the pond becomes choppy and disturbed. The clearer the water, the better you can see your reflection. This is how your mind can be with meditation. When your mind is calm and clear, you can see yourself and your thoughts more clearly. Meditation is like the gentle hand that stills the waters of your mind. It's a practice that has been cherished for centuries in Buddhism and other traditions because it helps us connect with our true selves and find inner peace. But how does it work? Let's explore this together. When you meditate, you sit quietly and focus your attention on one thing, such as your breath. This simple act of focusing helps to calm the constant chatter of your mind. Just like a pond, your mind has a natural tendency to become disturbed by thoughts, emotions, and distractions. Through meditation, you learn to observe these disturbances without getting caught up in them. Over time, you train your mind to return to stillness more easily, just as a pond returns to calm after the wind dies down. In Buddhism, meditation is not just about finding peace, but also about understanding the nature of your mind. It's like looking into a mirror and seeing not just your face, but the state of your mind. Are there ripples of anger, waves of anxiety, or clouds of confusion? Meditation helps you see these clearly, and once you see them, you can start to address them. One powerful aspect of meditation is its ability to bring you into the present moment. Often, our negativity is rooted in the past or the future. We regret past actions or worry about what might happen. Meditation helps you anchor yourself in the present, where your mind can find peace. By focusing on the present moment, you reduce the power of past regrets and future anxieties. You start to experience life as it is right now, without the extra weight of your worries. Consider this. When you sit down to meditate, you might feel restless. Your mind races with thoughts about your day, your to-do list, or your worries. This restlessness is normal. The key is to gently bring your focus back to your breath, or your chosen point of focus. Each time you do this, you're training your mind to be more resilient and less reactive. This practice of returning to focus is like a mental exercise that strengthens your ability to stay calm and clear in everyday life. As you continue to meditate, you may notice that your reactions to stress and negativity become less intense. You begin to respond to challenges with greater ease and less emotional turmoil. This is because meditation helps to cultivate a sense of inner stability. When your mind is more stable, you're less likely to be swept away by the ups and downs of life. Meditation also fosters a deep sense of self-awareness. By spending time in quiet reflection, you start to understand your thoughts and emotions better. You become more aware of the patterns that lead to negativity and can address them more effectively. This self-awareness is like a map that guides you through the landscape of your mind, helping you navigate away from the areas of negativity. In Buddhism, meditation is often paired with practices like loving kindness and compassion. These practices help to soften the heart and cultivate positive emotions. When you meditate, you might also practice sending loving thoughts to yourself and others. This can help to counteract the negativity that often arises from a place of harshness or judgment. By focusing on kindness and compassion, you create a more positive mental environment. Another important aspect of meditation is patience. Developing a meditation practice takes time, and it's normal to encounter challenges along the way. Just as a pond doesn't become clear instantly, your mind won't become calm overnight. The key is to be patient with yourself and to continue practicing. Each session of meditation, no matter how short or challenging, contributes to a deeper sense of peace and clarity. In the beginning, it's helpful to start with short periods of meditation and gradually increase the time as you become more comfortable. Even a few minutes a day can make a significant difference. The most important part is to establish a consistent practice. This creates a habit that helps you maintain a sense of calm and focus throughout your day. Meditation can also be integrated into daily life. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged on a cushion to practice mindfulness. You can bring the principles of meditation into everyday activities. For example, when eating, you can focus on the taste and texture of your food. When walking, you can pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. These small moments of mindfulness help to create a more peaceful and aware state of mind. As you deepen your meditation practice, you might find that you're more connected to your inner self. This connection brings a sense of peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. You start to realize that true peace comes from within, not from the world around you. This understanding is one of the most profound gifts of meditation. In summary, meditation is a powerful tool for removing negativity from your mind. By calming the waters of your thoughts, focusing on the present moment, and cultivating self-awareness, you create a more peaceful and balanced mental state. Like the still pond reflecting the sky, your mind can reflect clarity and calmness when you practice meditation regularly. So, take a few moments each day to sit in stillness and allow the natural peace of your mind to shine through. Being alone is so powerful. In the quiet of solitude, there lies a profound power. To be alone is often misunderstood. People think of it as loneliness or emptiness, But in truth, it is a chance to reconnect with your inner self. Imagine a calm pond. When the water is still, it reflects the world perfectly. But when disturbed, the reflection becomes a swirl of confusion. In solitude, we find the stillness that helps us see our true reflections. Being alone offers you a unique opportunity to hear your own thoughts clearly without the constant noise of others' opinions and expectations. It's like being in a peaceful room where you can hear the soft whisper of your own heart. When we are surrounded by others, our thoughts and feelings often become mixed with theirs. Alone, we regain clarity and can hear our inner voice, which might have been drowned out by external chatter. In Buddhism, this practice of solitude is not just about being physically alone, but about being mentally and emotionally present with yourself. The Buddha often retreated to meditate in solitude. These moments of being alone were not times of escape, but of deep connection and insight. Solitude is where he discovered the profound truths of the mind and the nature of existence. When you are alone, you have the space to observe your thoughts without judgment. This practice of self-observation is called introspection. By sitting quietly, you can explore the roots of your thoughts and feelings. You might discover that many of your worries and fears are not as significant as they seem. They are just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. In solitude, you can also engage in practices that help calm and center yourself, such as meditation or deep breathing. These practices allow you to connect with your inner self and find peace. Meditation helps you sit with your thoughts, to see them without becoming them. It's like watching clouds drift by without needing to chase them. In this way, solitude becomes a sanctuary where you can reconnect with your essence. Being alone also provides a space to reflect on your actions and intentions. It is in these moments of reflection that you can examine your life's direction and your purpose. Without the noise and distractions of daily life, you can ponder what truly matters to you and how you want to live your life. This reflection helps in setting goals that align with your true self, rather than reacting to external pressures. Moreover, solitude allows you to develop a deep sense of self-reliance. When you are alone, you learn to depend on yourself for comfort and happiness. This self-reliance builds inner strength and resilience. It's like a tree growing strong roots in the ground, able to stand firm regardless of the storms that may come. In Buddhism, the practice of solitude is often seen as a way to achieve enlightenment. It's not about isolating oneself from the world, but about finding peace within. Through solitude, you gain the ability to see things more clearly, to understand your own mind, and to live more harmoniously with the world. While being alone can initially feel uncomfortable or even frightening, it is a powerful practice for personal growth. It teaches you to be content with your own company and to find joy in your own presence. This self-contentment is a source of deep inner peace and happiness. As you embrace solitude, you might notice that your relationships with others also improve. When you are content and at peace within yourself, you bring that peace into your interactions. You become less dependent on others for your happiness and more capable of offering genuine kindness and understanding. In summary, being alone is not about escaping from life, but about stepping into a space where you can truly meet yourself. It's a practice of self-discovery and self-awareness. Through solitude, you can find the stillness that allows you to connect with your inner self, to reflect on your life, and to grow stronger and more centered. Embrace this time of solitude, and let it be a source of profound strength and clarity. The role of gratitude in removing negativity. In the quietude of a Zen garden, where the raked sand speaks of serene paths and the gentle rustling of bamboo whispers secrets of simplicity, there is a profound lesson to be learned. Gratitude, though often overlooked, is a powerful antidote to negativity. Imagine it as the sunlight that gently warms a cold morning, chasing away the frost and bringing life to everything it touches. Just as sunlight nurtures the earth, gratitude nourishes the mind, clearing away the shadows of negativity. Think of a time when you were caught in a storm of negative thoughts. Perhaps you felt unappreciated, or your mind was clouded by worries and fears. In such moments, negativity feels like a heavy cloak that shrouds everything. But consider this. What if you could lift that cloak with something as simple as a shift in perspective? This is where gratitude comes in. It's like finding a small, glowing ember in the midst of a darkened room. It has the power to illuminate and transform your inner world. Gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling of thankfulness. It's a practice, a way of seeing the world that can change your mental landscape. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you begin to shift your attention away from what is troubling you. This change in focus can lighten the burden of negative thoughts and emotions. It's as if you are holding a mirror to the negativity, reflecting it away and allowing a brighter, clearer image of life to emerge. In Buddhism, gratitude is closely linked to the concept of interconnectedness. The Buddha taught that all things are interconnected, and recognizing this connection can help us see the value in everything around us. When you appreciate the small blessings in life, a warm meal, a kind word, the beauty of nature, you acknowledge the interdependence of all things. This recognition helps to dissolve the barriers of negativity, revealing a sense of unity and harmony. To practice gratitude, start with simple steps. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you are thankful for. This could be as small as a smile from a stranger or the comfort of your home. As you begin to make this a habit, you'll notice a shift in your mindset. Your focus will gradually move from what is lacking or problematic in your life to what is already present and positive. This shift is akin to turning a dial from darkness to light, illuminating the path forward. Consider a daily practice of writing down 3 things you are grateful for each day. This simple act can help reinforce a positive outlook. As you note these things, allow yourself to fully experience the joy and appreciation they bring. This practice helps to anchor your mind in the present moment, where gratitude thrives and negativity fades. Moreover, gratitude is a practice that grows stronger with time. As you cultivate it, you'll find that your capacity for appreciation deepens. You'll start to notice the subtle, often overlooked blessings that surround you daily. This growing awareness will help to gradually erode the stronghold of negativity, replacing it with a more resilient and positive mindset. In moments of difficulty, when negativity feels overwhelming, return to the practice of gratitude. Remind yourself of the things you appreciate and the positive aspects of your life. This practice acts as a counterbalance to the weight of negative thoughts, helping to restore a sense of balance and perspective. Gratitude is also linked to the Buddhist practice of compassion. When you are grateful, you are more likely to act with kindness and understanding towards others. This compassion, in turn, creates a positive ripple effect, reinforcing the gratitude you feel and further diminishing negativity. It's a beautiful cycle of positive reinforcement that nurtures both your mind and your relationships. In essence, practicing gratitude is like tending to a garden. You plant seeds of appreciation, nurture them with positive thoughts, and watch as they grow into a flourishing landscape of contentment and joy. Just as a well-tended garden brings forth vibrant flowers and lush greenery, a mind cultivated with gratitude will naturally blossom with positivity, pushing out the shadows of negativity. As you continue this journey, remember that gratitude is a gentle, yet powerful force. It has the ability to transform your inner landscape, bringing light and warmth where there was once darkness. By embracing gratitude as a daily practice, you open yourself to a world of positivity and peace, paving the way for a more harmonious and fulfilling life. Living in the present, letting go of the past and future. In the vast tapestry of life, the present moment is like a single thread, fragile, fleeting, yet incredibly important. Imagine your life as a book, and each moment is a page you turn. If you spend too much time looking back at the chapters you've already read or worrying about the ones that haven't been written yet, you miss the beauty of the page you're on right now. When we dwell on the past, we often carry the weight of regrets, guilt, or old wounds. These are like shadows cast over our current experiences, making it hard to see the light of today. And when we worry about the future, we create a cloud of anxiety and fear that prevents us from fully engaging with the present. Both of these habits pull us away from the richness of the now. Buddhism teaches us that the present moment is where we truly live. It's where our actions matter, where our decisions are made, and where our experiences unfold. By focusing on the present, we can let go of the burdens of the past and the uncertainties of the future. This doesn't mean we ignore our past or future, but rather that we place our attention where it can be most effective, right here and now. To embrace the present moment, start by observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Notice when you're slipping into regrets or anxieties, and gently bring your attention back to the current moment. For example, if you're eating, truly savor each bite. If you're walking, feel each step. This practice helps ground you in the present and makes your experiences more vivid and fulfilling. Letting go of the past also means forgiving yourself and others. Holding on to anger or regret ties you to yesterday, preventing you from moving forward. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, freeing your heart from the chains of old grudges and allowing you to experience life more fully. Similarly, releasing worries about the future involves trusting that you will be able to handle whatever comes. When you focus on the present, you build the resilience needed to face future challenges without being overwhelmed by them. It's about doing your best now and trusting that this effort will shape a better tomorrow.